Welcome to the Natural Health Healing Show with one of New England's leading nutritionists, Mark Mincourt. The show is brought to you by the Good Health Stores in Hanover and Quincy. Call Mark at 781-837-4900 with your health and nutrition questions. Now, here's Mark.
Good evening and welcome. A very happy and a very healthy Memorial Day weekend to everybody out there in our listening audience. And a real salute, at least from myself, to virtually everybody out there in the armed forces who very bravely support us in our way of living. And my sincere thanks, heartfelt thanks to all of you out there. I salute all of you. And we have some interesting things to chat with. Thank everybody for all the kind comments regarding the Wednesday article in the Patriot Ledger. And Dana Barbuto, beautifully done. Certainly a lovely article that she wrote. And, not too many of those newspaper reports over the years have been all that accurate. Some of them are a little bit awkward in terms of trying to understand exactly what the work is that I do, the alternative medicine, etc., and the bioenergetic muscle testing, etc. So she really nailed it. She gave a real good perspective, and I think a clear picture as to the work that I do. So my thanks to her, Dana Barbuto, beautiful job. And thanks to all you out there for checking it out and for all your kind comments. I've gotten a lot of emails and a lot of great phone calls, etc. So that was in the Ledger this past Wednesday, May 20th. So, again, thanks. I want to talk to you this evening about something that I think is long overdue. We've, of course, over the years spoken a great deal about a number of the natural medicines, medicinal properties of a variety of different foods and herbs and spices and whatnot out there. And we talk a lot about nutritional supplements quite often. But this evening I'm going to talk about something that I think is truly, truly remarkable. Most folks out there are clear about what curry is. Curry is, of course, a combination of spices that folks have applied to a variety of dishes out there, from chicken to lentils, etc., etc. But the real key that I'm going to talk to you about this evening is the latest interesting research regarding the curcumin in turmeric. Of course, turmeric is the spice that everybody's familiar with that is one of the major spices that is in curry. But there's an active antioxidant called curcumin that is anti-inflammatory. Of course, it's a spice with many medicinal uses. And turmeric is a perennial plant, native, of course, to tropical South Asia, is used as a spice in India, in surrounding countries. Researchers over the years have discovered a number of different uses that are medicinal regarding turmeric. It's a member of the ginger family. You might say that it has a warm, kind of pungent, peppery, bitter sort of flavor to it. Best known for a number of different dishes, such as I said, curried rices and lentils and chicken dishes. And it gives that sort of yellowish color, yellowish sort of dye tint to the rice and to the beans. But the main ingredient is what we're going to talk about tonight. Its medicinal qualities are really derived from something that is a very, very powerful antioxidant called curcumin. And we've got some of the latest interesting research regarding the studies about curcumin, proper dosages, contraindications, and things of that nature. But I just kind of want to share a little bit about this with you. This was actually in Science Daily. I like to visit ScienceDaily.com from time to time. And this is actually from May 22nd. This is from Friday, this past Friday. Compound in turmeric spice may stall the spread of fat tissue. There may be a new way to spice up your weight loss routine according to results from a new animal model study published in Agriculture Research Services, or ARS-funded. Scientists and colleagues, the researchers theorized that dietary curcumin could stall or slow down the spreading of fatty tissues in the body by inhibiting new blood vessel growth called angiogenesis, which is necessary to build fatty tissue. Curcumin is a bioactive component in curry and turmeric that has been consumed daily in Asian countries for centuries without reported toxic effects. The key here, folks, is they found an interesting 12-week period of results that dramatically curtailed the distribution and the manufacturing of fat in the metabolism. So this study found specifically that by supplementing these animals in this study with a high-fat diet and curcumin at the same time, that the curcumin actually reduced body weight gain and total body fat. So think about this. They've actually increased the calories. They've increased the fat that the animals normally receive. They gave them the standard dose, what would be the equivalent of a standard dose of curcumin. And in that standard human equivalent dose of curcumin, it was found that there was a dramatic reduction in the production of and distribution of fat cells in the body. So this is a brand new study, and this is I'm going to tell you right now, this study is going to raise an awful lot of eyebrows. There's an awful lot of people, of course, that in the pharmaceutical industry that have been looking high and low for the ultimate fat-burning or diet-type pill. Of course, that is a magic bullet in today's world because so many folks are obviously concerned about weight gain and, of course, the unhealthy aspects of fat distribution within the body. And now we find, of course, that Mother Nature had a solution all along, as we typically find that food is indeed medicine, and once again we do find that. This is again in Science Daily, May 22nd, this past Friday, and this is a test that actually took place at Tufts University in Boston, and it was part of the study was led by nutritionist Mohsin Meidani at the Jean Mayer USDA Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging at Tufts University. And again, remarkable study. And this is going to really trigger a tremendous new wave. I'll guarantee it. It will trigger a new wave of research because these researchers are theorizing now that the dietary curcumin could indeed stall the spreading of fatty tissues by inhibiting new blood vessel growth in the body. So you're going to find a lot more information regarding curcumin as a fat antagonist. And again, remarkable again to think that they were giving significantly higher levels of fat and calories to these animals, significantly higher levels of fat and calories, and yet because of the curcumin in the diet, their fat percentage dropped dramatically. So we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about, while we're talking about curcumin, a recent study from the Toronto General Hospital regarding an ingredient in yellow curry called curcumin, again, that can reduce heart enlargement and may prevent heart failure. Also, curcumin showing promise as combating diabetes and obesity in another study. If that's not enough, we've got a study here about how curcumin slows melanoma growths in laboratory studies, and how curry ingredient may fight Alzheimer's disease as well. So when we come back from these breaks, we're going to talk about some really interesting breakthrough research regarding a common spice and what remarkable medicinal properties it indeed has. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Laura from Good Health. Did you know that organic foods offer up to 1,000% more vitamins and minerals than non-organic foods? It's true. So this year, make every dollar count. Shop at Good Health Natural Foods in Quincy and Hanover. See us online at goodhealthnaturalfood.com. Remember, for certified organic produce, natural groceries, vitamins, bodybuilding herbs, homeopathics, and natural cosmetics, it's Good Health Natural. See you soon.
Right in our area, we are fortunate to have one of the top martial arts schools in the country, Personal Best Karate. Personal Best has been recognized for their community involvement, professional staff development, character building programs, and exciting educational curriculum. Personal Best stands at the top of their industry. 5 locations offering personalized professional instruction Not sure if karate is right for you? At no obligation, the staff at Personal Best will guide you in a private introductory program to see if karate is indeed the right fit to help you achieve your goals and meet your needs. What does karate at Personal Best teach you? Character building, success habits, helps you get in shape, relieve stress, self-control, setting goals, and of course, self-defense. Personal Best's goal is to create successful, contributing members of society through the practice of the martial arts at Personal Best. Mr. Chris Rappold is, of course, the founder of Personal Best Karate. He tells me his greatest joy of all is to see the personal transformation in each and every student. Bring out your best with Personal Best Karate. Telephone number 508-285-5425. That's 508-285-5425. Locations in Norton, Foxborough, Southeaston, Franklin, and Taunton. That's Personal Best Karate. Alrighty, welcome back. And once again, a very happy, healthy Memorial Day weekend to everybody out there. Hope you have great plans and you're enjoying your time with people you love. And it's a great time of year, of course. It's magnificent out there. Everything is green and kind of busting out all over. So it's kind of beautiful this time of year just to be out and about. Anyway, talking with you this evening about something that I think is really amazing and remarkable studies here. When we think in terms of curcumin, again, the active antioxidant in turmeric, which of course is what most people think of as curry. But the remarkable medicinal properties of this herb are truly astounding, and some of this new cutting-edge research I think really underscores the importance of its anti-inflammatory properties. It's specifically been designated as an anti-hepatotoxic, which means it has a protective effect on the liver. It's, of course, as we just pointed out, anti-hyperlipidemic, which means it inhibits the excess buildup of lipids or fatty substances, even cholesterols in the body, and triglycerides as well. So again, in this particular study, we find the anti-hyperlipidemic response in the Tufts University study that we just spoke of, which is a brand new study, and again, found to reduce weight gain in mice and suppress the growth of fat tissue in both mice and cell models, and again, keeping in mind that they were fed higher diets in calories and fat. So remarkable. Also, as we said, anti-inflammatory, and again, that's something that I think we will find more and more research about, because there's a lot of arthritic studies that are using curcumin right now as an antioxidant, an anti-inflammatory antioxidant. Of course, it is an antioxidant, which means it scavenges or sort of sops up the free radicals, which cause so many problems such as cancer and heart disease, inhibits the lipid peroxide formation, especially in the liver. It has an anti-tumoral effect, of course, which means it inhibits the formation of tumors, yes, including cancerous tumors, of course. Antimicrobial, which means it inhibits the action of microorganisms such as bacteria. And one interesting thought that most people are really not aware of is that it is an anti-insect as well. So for those of you who are troubled this time of year by mosquitoes or black flies, if you visit friends up in New Hampshire, that's right, it is anti-insect, which means it acts as a natural insect repellent, which is certainly a bonus for this time of year. But we're talking about curcumin, the antioxidant in turmeric, or curry, if you will. And the properties, as we said, are seemingly endless. But I just kind of wanted to share a little bit of this information with you this evening. Preliminary studies on mice suggest curcumin may be effective in stopping the progression of multiple sclerosis. Yes, multiple sclerosis. Researchers at Vanderbilt University have found that mice bred to develop multiple sclerosis and experimental autoimmune encephalomyelitis, or EAE, demonstrated little or no symptoms of the disease when given curcumin. Mice that were not given curcumin went on to develop severe paralysis. In another study, mice bred to develop the EAE were given either 50 or 100 micrograms of curcumin or placebo 3 times a week. By day 15, the group of mice that had not received the curcumin had become completely paralyzed, while the group given 50 micrograms of the spice exhibited only minor symptoms. The group given 100 micrograms exhibited no symptoms at all. The dosage of curcumin given these mice in the studies were roughly the equivalent to the amounts found in a typical diet. A study done by the Department of Medicine and Neurology at the University of California reported that curcumin slows the progression of Alzheimer's in animals. Okay, so again, remarkable studies that these are all brand new studies, and there's an awful lot of people. That's the way things work in the world of science. I guess it works that way just about every aspect of life. But wherever there's a great deal of activity that is producing fruit, producing results, there's invariably going to be an awful lot of action in that area. It's kind of like when they discovered gold out west, and the word spread, everybody went out west to dig in the same areas. And research is very much like that. You know, when they start finding out that there's a substance such as curcumin, a very powerful antioxidant that has been anecdotally written about and spoken about for centuries regarding natural Ayurvedic medicine in the Far East and in the Middle East, suddenly, you realize that we have the capacity to take many of these anecdotal stories about the healing properties of natural medicines and spices and foods, and to really analyze them scientifically and to verify and confirm whether or not they're the real stuff. And curcumin surely is. Another study recently done at the University of Texas at the MD Anderson Cancer Center at the University of Texas found that curcumin blocked the growth of skin cancer, what you and I might think of as melanoma, in laboratory mice. And in that same study at the University of Texas, they actually found, surprisingly, that it also inhibited the spread of breast cancer into the lungs. So the metastatic transfer, the metastatic migration of cancer from the breast into the lungs was stopped by curcumin. So another study that goes back to 2004 found that turmeric, when taken in conjunction with chemotherapy medicine, Taxol, it actually enhanced its effect, making the treatment just as powerful and obviously less toxic than it had been previously. So the turmeric actually enhanced the effect by keeping the potency in place, but removing the toxic side effects. Now, a lot of folks, of course, who I work with an awful lot of people and have over the years who were receiving chemotherapy and going through their various orthodox treatments for cancer, and a lot of them, of course, and you know this, have very serious side effects. And folks have been searching high and low over the many years for something to really assist in the toxic side effects of chemotherapy. And, some folks, of course, have used herbs such as ginger, spices like ginger, to help with their nausea. But very, very few medicines have had the same effect as turmeric. So once again, turmeric back in 2004 was found to support the effects of Taxol, the chemotherapy medicine Taxol, by actually making the treatment less toxic, so that the side effect capacity was greatly diminished by the turmeric. We just mentioned a few moments ago arthritis. Again, there are certainly millions and millions of Americans that are suffering from both rheumatoid and osteoarthritis. There's an awful lot of very serious cases of rheumatoid, though, in particular, that I want to talk about. In a study done at the University of Arizona, researchers recently created symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis in laboratory mice. Some of the mice were treated with preparations of this herbal remedy before inflammation began, while others were treated after it began. In this study, laboratory animals were given turmeric containing 41% of the three major curcuminoids, it was found to be an effective treatment in preventing joint pain, but only if given before inflammation started. In a study done at the University of Arizona, researchers created symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis in laboratory mice. Some of the mice were treated with preparations of turmeric extract before inflammation began, while others were treated after it began. The researchers found that those mice given an extract containing the most curcumin were the ones who saw the most reduction of joint swelling. They think that it causes the adrenal gland to produce more of the body's own cortisone, a powerful reliever of inflammation and pain. Also, turmeric for gout is thought to be an effective treatment. And again, because of its anti-inflammatory curcuminoids, there are substances in the curcumin called curcuminoids, and those curcuminoids are the specific antioxidants that help neutralize the inflammatory properties of gout as well as arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. So I would tell you two things about curcumin as a natural healing agent for arthritis. The first thing I would tell you is that not to worry about this report suggesting that it's kind of useless to take it after the fact, because I'd tell you, number one is it will seize, generally, whatever level of inflammation you are presently at. So you don't want your inflammation to continue to progress. Clearly, you'd like to prevent that from happening. But study after study indicates that as you go up in doses with curcumin, it has a greater potential to reverse rheumatoid inflammatory conditions. So in the lighter doses, it will prevent the inflammation from advancing and from worsening. In higher doses, it will tend to reverse the inflammatory swelling and what we call the conditions associated with rheumatoid arthritis. So again, these studies were done at the University of Arizona very recently, and these researchers made it very clear that the curcumin had two different effects from a preventive perspective and a treatment perspective, and largely dose dependent. So, and it is safe for folks to use. We're going to talk about contraindications. If folks have gallstones or if a history of bile duct obstructions, or if they're pregnant, obviously you probably want to forego using curcumin. Just probably not a great idea. I would also say individuals that are taking blood thinners such as Coumadin would probably want to avoid using it as well. Why? For the simple reason that it is, as we said earlier, an anti-inflammatory. Okay? Herbs like rosemary, which has a high concentration of rosmarinic acid. Curcumin, as we've been talking about this evening. Ginger. These are all very powerful anti-inflammatories. Mother Nature provided us with some very powerful natural medicines here. Most folks are not familiar with that fact. To the average person, food is not a medicine. That is absolutely incorrect. Food is the major medicine. It is the primary medicine. It's the first medicine. The things that we're accustomed to thinking about as medicines were not here. They were not available in medicinal form hundreds and thousands of years ago. So for hundreds of thousands of years, folks were able to utilize natural medicines from their indigenous surroundings. And each of the four corners of the earth are absolutely rife with all kinds of possibilities when it comes to natural medicine. So we're talking about something from the southeastern part of Asia that is typically utilized as an anti-inflammatory, and now, thankfully, we can make use of it as a pretty tasty spice that has anti-inflammatory properties, and that you can use both from the perspective of food spice as well as supplement in capsule form as well. And I usually encourage people to do both, especially if they're looking to neutralize the presence of inflammation, or as we're finding out now, if they want to enhance their metabolism, because we're now finding that there seems to be some natural medicinal properties that go beyond the typical anti-inflammatory properties that we've become familiar with regarding the usefulness of turmeric and curcumin. But we find that there are a number of different interesting properties. As we said a little while ago, an interesting report here from the Peter Monk Cardiac Center of the Toronto General Hospital. This is going back from last year, 2008. Eating curcumin, a natural ingredient in the spice turmeric, may dramatically reduce the chance of developing heart failure. And again, these researchers found that the curcumin was very, very effective in animal models at reducing enlarged hearts and preventing the formation of obviously blood clots because of its anti-inflammatory properties. And because blood clots are, of course, the result of a hormone, an inflammatory hormone called thromboxane A2. And curcumin, as has been published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation, researchers found that it was able to reduce the prospects of an enlarged heart, and obviously the clotting factor that really contributes to the inflammation and scarring of the formation of the heart. So remarkable stuff. Curcumin has the ability to, as it says here, shut off one of the major switches right at the chromosome source where the enlargement and scarring genes are being turned on. Dr. Peter Liu is, of course, the author. He's done some remarkable spice and natural food and antioxidant research over the years. Dr. Peter Liu is cardiologist at the Peter Monk Cardiac Center and scientific director of the Canadian Institutes of Health and Research. And he says its beneficial effects are very strong, and he talks about how absolutely impressive it was in their studies. As he says here, curcumin's ability to shut off one of the major switches right at the chromosome source where the enlargement and scarring genes are being turned on is profoundly impressive. And those are the words of the author of that study. And again, think about this. An ingredient in a food-based spice can reduce heart enlargement in studies and perhaps prevent heart failure. And again, it's largely because of its natural anti-inflammatory properties. It's a COX-2 inhibitor. We know that fatty fish, of course, and flax, everybody's, of course, on board with fatty fish oils and wild salmon, and certainly everybody's on board with flax as well because of their wonderful medicinal, therapeutic, anti-inflammatory properties. Good for the heart, good for the immune system. But we're talking about a spice that actually fills in that same gap and really fits into the same set of categorical properties. So really important to make sure that you add curcumin to your list of gotta-have-ems. Curcumin is a very, very medicinal and a very powerful spice. When we come back from this little breather, we're going to talk to you a little bit more about the medicinal powers of this wonderful spice called curcumin. Be right back.
This is Catherine from Jarrow Formulas. We're happy to have continued our relationship with Mark Mincola in the Health and Healing Show, and we're happy to announce a new product from Jarrow Formulas called Jarrow Cell. We all know that as the body ages, it heals less rapidly and becomes frailer. Often the body is unable to process enough nutrients to repair weakening cartilage and protein fibers. A very important element in building and repairing your body is silicon. But unfortunately, as we grow, you may have difficulty absorbing adequate silicon from your diet. But now, thanks to a product called Jarrow Cell, you can be sure to get your share. Jarrow Cell can give you the silicon you need to support your bone health, bone mineral density, and in addition, Jarrow Cell strengthens and beautifies your hair, skin, and nails. Jarrow Cell is available now in a synergistic liquid formula that also includes boron and zinc. Ask for Jarrow Cell at your local health food stores. Or for more information, you can go to the Jarrow website, which is www.jarrow.com.
Hi there, this is Mark Mincola, the Natural Health and Healing Show. I know that so many of you out there are passionate about the latest cutting-edge nutritional information, would like to go on to that next level. I'm proud to announce that our new natural health care offices in Cohasset are offering personalized nutritional consultations. At Santi Holistic Healing, you'll experience an informative, individualized nutritional consultation by one of my finest personally trained nutritional experts. Your consultant will test you for specific food allergies and supplements. Together, you will chart out a personalized, optimal nutritional roadmap that will detail your healthiest foods and nutritional supplements, even specific doses. If that's not enough, we also offer relaxing healing massage at Santi Holistic Healing. Whether it's nutritional consulting or healing massage that you're interested in, we at Santi Holistic Healing are prepared to give you the healing experience of a lifetime. Call us at 781-383-3393. That's 781-383-3393 for the healing experience of a lifetime. Alrighty, welcome back. It is, of course, that magical time in the broadcast where we have Candida come on in. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Great. Happy Memorial Day.
I know. I went to the North End.
Yeah,
Took my
great.
husband out for lunch. It was happy
Nice.
birthday, honey.
Very nice. Happy birthday to Mark out there. Fantastic. And, of course...
But I had to stay for you as well because this is wonderful. I just want to let folks know I had to stay. It's the Living Well section of the Patriot Ledger. We have our very own Dr. Mark Mincola right on the cover. It's Mark Mincola is the South Shore's go-to guy for holistic eating.
That was a very
I'm so
job.
impressed. This is so wonderful. You deserve it, for sure.
Thank you so much.
And
well, she did a wonderful job. So Dana Barbuto really, kudos to her. She did a very, very artful job, and she gets it, you know. She came in for some appointments and wanted to really kind of roll up her sleeves and find out exactly what I did and write about it. So she did that.
I love the title of the article. It's called Bodyguard.
I love it.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And it's 4 pages. It's the cover story. If folks haven't seen it, you should definitely go out. It's definitely a keepsake.
And there's quite a few photos in there.
Yeah.
One that we did at Salon Maxime. We did a benefit there for Medicine for Humanity. What was the name of that thing? I can't even remember now. But
it's a fundraiser for the Rockland-based Medicines for Humanity.
Medicines for Humanity, yeah, Rockland-based, that's what it was.
At Maxime.
Wonderful. That was a great event and a lot of fun that we did. We actually put together some recipes and had some fun. It was great.
Yeah, and the fast track 5 minutes with Mark Mincola, just showing you, what you could do in 5 minutes.
Yeah, they came out and they started shooting photos in my kitchen while I was juicing and making lentil soup and all that stuff, and it was great. So we've got some recipes in there. If folks want to scoop some of those. They're good. We're talking curcumin too here, you know.
Curcumin, that's right.
Get that stuff in your lentil soup. But thank you so much.
Very nice. It will definitely educate the community more about what you're doing.
No doubt about it. And if folks, you know what, the other thing is if folks missed it and they can't get a copy of this past Wednesday's ledger, they can go to my website because we've got a copy of it on the website. It's www.maxhealing, of course, one word, maxhealing.com. So you can take a peek at that. You can read the article and check out the pictures, and you didn't miss a thing if you didn't scoop the paper on Wednesday.
That's right, and if it interests you enough, we also have a mailing list where folks can sign up on the mailing list right on your website.
Great.
And we can shoot them off information every now and again about upcoming seminars and workshops.
Wunderbar.
Congratulations.
Nice. Thank you so much.
It's wonderful. I just wanted to share an email that Good Health got, and they thought it was just, they wanted to share it with all the listeners out there, and it said, there was a question, I'm worried about the dangers of sun exposure and the diseases that are carried by biting bugs, but I'm also worried about how to protect myself and my family without exposing us to equal or greater dangers from sunscreens and bug repellents. What should I do? So there's a couple of key points that they wanted to talk with you about tonight. Briefly, it's when you're picking your sunscreens, there's a ingredient called oxybenzone. Oxybenzone that you want to stay away from.
Setting diabetes and obesity according to this particular study that was done at Columbia University recently. So, again, there's a wave of remarkable scientific discoveries regarding curcumin, turmeric. This was a report that was recently in Reuters about how the ingredient curry may help stimulate immune system cells by gobbling up the brain-clogging proteins that mark Alzheimer's disease. They said they isolated a compound in turmeric, the yellow spice that gives Indian curry powder its distinctive color that appears to stimulate a specific response against Alzheimer's. It may be possible to infuse this compound into patients and treat the incurable and fatal brain condition, Dr. Milan Fiala of the University of California, Los Angeles, and colleagues said. Writing in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, Fiala's team said they had shown earlier that curcumin may affect the brain cells of Alzheimer's patients. And they went on to find that using blood samples from Alzheimer patients, they found something called bis-D-methoxycurcumin, which is a form of curcumin, boosted immune cells called macrophages to clear a protein called amyloid beta, which clogs the brains of Alzheimer's patients and kills brain cells. So what they found, folks, is that the beta amyloid plaques that are the brain plaques that clog the brains of Alzheimer's patients were antagonized by curcumin. So once again, we find in study after study that this is something that we really want to make sure that we have a complete appreciation of in terms of doses, etc. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. But again, we've just basically raced through some remarkable properties here, remarkable studies. The properties, again, anti-hepatotoxic, which means it has a protective effect on the liver. Anti-hyperlipidemic, which means it inhibits the excessive buildup of lipids or fatty substances such as cholesterol in the blood. Anti-inflammatory, meaning it reduces inflammation. That's an easy one. Antioxidant, meaning it scavenges free radicals from our bloodstream. Inhibits lipid peroxide formations, especially in the liver. Anti-tumoral means it, of course, inhibits the formation of tumors, including cancerous tumors. Antimicrobial, inhibiting the action of microorganisms such as bacteria. And as we said with Candida just a few moments back, anti-insect. That's right, it actually acts as an insect repellent taken internally. So we're used to thinking of working topically by putting topical agents on, in some cases not so safe and not so healthy topical ingredients, especially with kids. But in this case, we have options to do the very same thing, but without the toxic side effects and applications such as DEET and all that other horrible stuff, by using curcumin as a natural supplement. So we've also talked about melanoma, how it actually in a number of different studies demonstrated that it has the ability to neutralize the effects of melanoma, something that affects many, many folks here in the United States. And that research was done at the University of Texas Anderson Cancer Center in Houston. And they were treating cell lines, a variety of different cell lines with different doses for different durations. And based on their studies, they concluded that curcumin is a potent suppressor of viable induced cell lines for melanoma. So obviously, turmeric has been also shown to stop the spread of breast cancer in mice. Epidemiological studies have linked high consumption of turmeric to lower rates of breast cancer, prostate cancer, lung cancer, and colon cancer as well. So I'm not sure if it's on your docket, if it's something you're using as a spice. If it's not, it should be. It does not have an offensive taste. In any event, you can certainly use it as a supplement. I know Good Health Natural Foods has a couple different options for the supplementing of curcumin in your diet, and I would highly recommend it. And again, think of it as an anti-inflammatory, if nothing else. And I say that because when you think about most diseases, heart disease is an inflammatory disease. Cancer is an inflammatory disease. Rheumatoid arthritis is an inflammatory disease. Obesity is considered an inflammatory disease. So the point I'm trying to make here is if you've got something that is truly a natural, potent, viable anti-inflammatory, as we keep saying, it's one-stop shopping. The reason I really wanted to highlight curcumin this evening on the broadcast is pretty obvious because it is amazingly viable as a supplement in a myriad of different conditions at preventing and helping to offset a number of different existing medical conditions. So you want to really give some serious thought to doing your research, getting out there, taking a look at some of these studies, and supplementing your diet. Not just the spice, but again, you can get 500 milligram capsules of turmeric. The standard recommended preventive dose would just be to take 500 milligrams and 1 cap a day. If folks are suffering some very serious inflammatory conditions like rheumatoid, or if they're looking to augment or supplement their protocols to try to defeat some kind of illness or some kind of condition, heart disease, etc., I would highly recommend at least 1,000 milligrams or 2 caps a day. In fact, a number of different cancer patients that I've worked with over the years who are engaged in dual therapy, who are working hard with their nutrition, as well as following the course of their oncological treatments, are supported by the equivalent of 4 to 6 of these capsules a day. So 2,000 milligrams a day, 3,000 milligrams a day, and in some cases 4,000 milligrams a day. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast that there are some folks that probably want to avoid using it, and those are folks who are pregnant, as we just mentioned a little while ago, and folks who have any kind of historical problems with their gallbladder. If they've got any kind of biliary stasis, if they've got any problems with gallstones or blocked bile ducts, they probably want to avoid using a spice such as this. The other thing is a lot of folks are curious. I know a lot of folks that I counsel are curious if they have kind of inflammatory stomach conditions such as GERD. Say, wait a minute, what's the deal here? I've got this inflammatory condition in my stomach that doesn't allow me to eat spices, and yet you're telling me that this particular spice is an anti-inflammatory. Which way does it fall? How does it work out? I would tell you that curcumin is perfectly viable to use in a number of different stomach conditions and a number of different patients who do have the diagnosis of GERD. And I find that it is case by case, but I would say that about 60 to 70% of the folks that have been diagnosed with GERD can use a small amount of the turmeric. One of the things that I suggest is you start off, if you have a stomach condition, by just putting a small amount in food, cooking it into your food, breaking some of the pungency down a little bit in the cooking process. See how you tolerate it using a pinch in a cooked preparation, and then if your tolerance is pretty good, then you increase the amount that you've cooked with, and then slowly work into using a 500 milligram capsule or 2 and see how your body works with it. The one thing that I would highly recommend is that if you're going to use it as a spice, that you want to use organic spices. I always recommend that folks, no matter what spice you're using, they should be organic spices. The reason for that, of course, is there are no restrictions. I shouldn't say no restrictions, but there are very liberal margins as far as what can be sprayed on spices, because spices are not considered foods. So there's many of the non-commercial spice companies in the industry will basically take whatever they can get away with. So if they can get away with applying high concentrations of insecticides and things of that nature to protect their investment, they surely are going to do that. And they do that. And again, organic, not so. So I think one area that you don't want to find yourself neutralizing the medicinal properties of something such as turmeric by going in the direction of an inorganic product. You want to make sure you get organic turmeric, organic spice. All your spices should be organic because, once again, they can load them up with pesticides, etc., and that sort of neutralizes or washes the positive effect that you began employing it to begin with. So that's really, really an important tip. The other thing I want to say, too, about that is that in the capsule form, a lot of folks... You basically want to break it down. You don't want to take them all at once because you're talking about a high concentration that you need to distribute more easily throughout the course of the day for better absorption. So you take 1 or 2 capsules early in the day, 1 or 2 capsules in the middle of the day, 1 or 2 capsules later in the day. But some folks, have this knack for slugging down all 4 to 6 capsules or whatever they're taking first thing in the morning. Charge out the door and go to work. But that's not the way you want to do that with this. You want to make sure you distribute it throughout the day to get that consistent distribution of potency throughout the day. So take one at breakfast, one at lunch, one at dinner if you're taking 3 a day. And the only other thing I'd mention here about supplementing yourself with curcumin is if you really need to get, if you're a cancer patient, if you're a heart patient, and you really want to get the powerful medicinal properties and the benefits of this herb, you don't want to take it with food. You want to take it in between meals in a supplement form. Why? Because once again, the potency, the real pungent anti-inflammatory curcuminoids that are in there are going to be better utilized and more powerful when they're not competing with food. So they work very nicely with food for somebody who's not fighting a very drastic condition, no problem. They work in food, of course, to make it taste better, so they certainly are going to work medicinally, not quite as powerfully. So again, if you really rely upon, and if you are reliant upon the powerful properties of this antioxidant, you don't want it to have to compete with digestion, with food. So take it on an empty stomach in between meals or before meals. That's really, really important. And there are many different types of curcumin as well, but you'll find that the organic Frontier Herbs, for example, is quite a nice product. You'll find that the Solaray makes a very good 500 milligram. Solgar makes standard full potency, what they call SFP, standard full potency, 500 milligrams, and it's guaranteed potency. Many of these herbs, such as turmeric, are not guaranteed potencies. So they're approximated potencies, and that doesn't do you a darn bit of good. So it's nice to have a standardized full potency or guaranteed full potency. And again, as I said a minute ago, some of the organic products out there are actually quite good. Good Health is loaded. You don't have to worry about it. Stop in there and tell them you want to pick up on some turmeric, some curcumin spice, and some turmeric capsules, 500 milligrams. Take 1 or 2 a day. And once again, you really, I think, owe it to yourself to go online and take a peek at some of these studies. I like to bring them to your attention so that we can inspire you to do some homework and to look after yourself by finding out what's out there. And again, my message to you is there's always something out there. Mother Nature had you in mind every step of the way. You know that. All right. Before time moves on and gets out beyond me here, I want to make sure that I thank WATDmay, of course, Larry Nelson. Larry Nelson does a great job holding down the fort here each and every Sunday. Doesn't get enough credit for it. And WATDmay, of course, helps out with the remarkable web site that he put together for us. He's our webmaster. And he makes sure that this is podcasted, of course, each and every Sunday. So if folks are interested in viewing this program, you can do so. It should be up probably by Tuesday. And you can go to the website at www.maxhealing.com. That's one word. You can view this program, and we've got archives of all the past programs that are on there, so you could sneak a peek at all those as well. And the site is pretty loaded up with our different cooking demonstrations, and again, loaded up with the New England Cable News segments that I do each and every Wednesday. And so Adam took great pains to put together a real active and a real vibrant site. So check it out if you haven't. And again, as Candida was so kind to mention, you can check out that newspaper article of this past Wednesday that we loaded up. Adam loaded that up on our website as well. So again, thanks to WATDmay. And we also want to make sure that everybody out there knows we appreciate them and all the great support they've given us over the years. We have our birthday program coming up, our 7th anniversary show. I think it's the 3rd week in June. I believe it's Father's Day weekend. So it'll be 7 years, and we thank you, of course, for making that possible and spreading the great word. It's hard to believe, but we've got viewers and listeners from all around the globe right now. We get the reports on it. We've got people in the Netherlands and all over this great country, and in Italy and in Spain, and it's just crazy. It's hard. These are really amazing times. It's hard for me to imagine, but they're out there because we get the reports on it. And we thank each and every one of you and all of you, no matter where you are. And we are committed to living up to your expectations each and every Sunday. So stay tuned again for the Sex on the South Shore program. That'll be coming up momentarily, Dr. Julie Johnson. And until next Sunday, this is Dr. Mark Mincola reminding you all, please be wise, be aware, Be well. Make it a healthy week. Good night.
Thank you for joining Mark Mincola for the Natural Health and Healing Show. Call Mark each Sunday evening at 8 o'clock for the latest nutritional news.